She was like, you know, Fareeha, she texted me, she was like, you know, Fareeha, I saw a donkey on the streets in Pakistan. It was so fascinating. I was like, it must be.
जो चीज़ें हमें डिस्कस करती हैं आपको अच्छी लगती हैं.
She was like, it was so fascinating. I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Hey, my name is Habib Ahmed, and you're listening to Puckcord. In each episode of this podcast, I talk to different guests from all over the world, and we all have one thing in common: Pakistan. One of the fun challenges about doing this podcast is the timing difference between the guests and myself. I live in the US and have a full-time job, and then our guests all throughout the world have their own day jobs and school schedules that keep them busy. Some of the guests are easier than others to bring on the podcast. Well, today's guest is living in Japan, and Japan is 13 hours ahead of my time zone, which made it a bit tricky to bring her on the show. Her name is Fareeha. She hasn't spent a lot of time in Pakistan, grew up in Saudi Arabia, and then moved to Japan for her studies to a city called Sendai, and has been living there for 9 years, currently working at a lab while pursuing her PhD. So after some back and forth, Fareeha and I scheduled a recording time of Saturday morning for myself and Saturday night her time in Japan. Well, Fareeha and I are both used to waking up early for work.
हाँ, it was weekend, so I was like, it's okay, you might be like waking up late, और मेरी वजह से अगर सुबह 8 बजे उठना पड़े तो मैं weekend पे चाहती नहीं हूँ जल्दी सोना, लेकिन weekdays की वजह से वो एक आदत बनी होती है, नींद आ ही जाती है.
So I felt a little bad for keeping her up, but I promised her that the chat will keep her awake, and sure enough, we had a really fun and lively discussion. So thanks to Fareeha for making time to talk to all of you. She's a regular listener of the podcast herself, and being from Japan, I told her that the guests would love to learn more about her life over there. So in this episode, she'll tell us much about herself and her life in Japan, her past, present, and plans for the future. What's your daily schedule like?
Because I have to go to lab.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually wake up like 7 बजे का अलार्म लगाती हूँ और 7-8 बजे के करीब उठ जाती हूँ. And then I just get ready, go to lab around 9:30. Sometimes I have breakfast or sometimes I don't. And then I go to lab, do my experiments and stuff. And sometimes I do come back home because my home is very close to my lab.
That's good. For lunch.
So I'll come home for the lunch sometimes for an hour or so.
That's awesome.
And then I go back again, and then I usually come back around 7 or 6 sometimes. I try my best to come back by 6. But 6 or 7 ho jate hain if I'm doing experiments.
Yeah, so you go to work at 9, you come back at 6.
Yeah, I try, that's why I go back early. I go early in the morning so I can come back early.
Makes sense. I also wake up at 7 in the morning usually for work, but I sleep much later. मैं फिर भी 12-1 बजे सोता हूँ, मैं अपने आप को जलील करता रहता हूँ. नींद मेरी पूरी नहीं होती, लेकिन 1 बजे नहीं, लेकिन 12 बजे तक मैं लेट जाता हूँ. लेकिन वीकेंड्स पे ये है कि वीकेंड्स पे फिर भी मैं 7-8 बजे जाग जाता हूँ. Same as you. वो रूटीन बन गई होती है ना.
Okay.
But I stay up a little bit later than you.
Even I was thinking that because my sister, she lives in Pakistan. So she's also working these days. So I don't get time actually to talk to her because she's also busy, and then we have a time difference, right?
Yeah.
So when she comes back home around Pakistan के 6 बज रहे होते हैं, हमारे almost 10 बज जाते हैं, और वो उसी टाइम अभी घर आई होती है. And then after वो fresh up वगैरह होके मुझे call करती है, and I'm already texting her, okay, good night.
Yeah, right. पाकिस्तान से कितना difference है जापान?
4 घंटे हम लोग आगे हैं.
Okay, yeah. That's still not as bad as here. यहाँ पे तो 12 घंटे का difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. हाँ, अगर सुबह शाम हो तो वो तो फिर impossible ही हो जाता है. So even because I'm so used to talk to her every day, I have to tell her everything about my day and other things, good and bad stuff. Yeah. So I get frustrated. I'll be like, okay, तुम मुझे बीच में call नहीं कर सकती. You should better take sometimes अपनी half break लेकर मुझे call कर लिया करो.
तो पाकिस्तान से आप कहाँ से हैं?
पाकिस्तान पे हम फैसलाबाद से हैं. आप भी पंजाब से है ना?
Yeah, मैं लाहौर में पैदा हुआ था. But I came to the US when I was 6, so I've lived here most of my life.
Okay, मैं भी actually हम लोग सऊदी अरेबिया में पैदा हुए थे.
अच्छा.
ज़्यादा मेरे बहन भाई, सिर्फ एक ही I think पाकिस्तान में हुआ था. हाँ, हम सऊदीया में होते. Or we were in Saudi until I was in 7th grade. Yeah, I remember when I was in 8th grade, we moved to Pakistan. So that was actually first time like I saw Pakistan.
अच्छा, really?
Yeah.
तो मतलब सऊदी से पाकिस्तान इतना नहीं जाते थे?
कभी भी नहीं गए थे actually.
Really?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Saudi is so close to Pakistan. That would be not too bad of a
Yeah,
flight.
it is. I don't know. Maybe because my other relatives, they are also scattered. Like some are in US actually, and then some are in Japan. So very few people were in Pakistan. So yeah, we never really went to Pakistan during all the time.
Yeah.
So like when we were going to Pakistan, we were just like shifting to Pakistan. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. और इसके बावजूद आपने उर्दू सीख ली. So it seems like your parents made sure that you still learn.
क्योंकि घर में हम लोग उर्दू ही बोलते थे ना, तो एक्चुअली हमें अरेबिक तो आती ही नहीं है.
अच्छा तो
yeah, because we went to international school.
वो तो नहीं था, PIS JES तो नहीं था.
Oh my god, I told you.
You did not go to that school, right?
Like I listened to that episode and I was like, oh my god, this is, but our school was pretty much similar. I don't know, but it was in Al Khubar.
अच्छा, इंटरनेशनल स्कूल बोला तो मुझे मेरे दिमाग में वही आया.
Yeah, because it was like Saudi Arabia International School and then Pakistani section and Al Khubar. And when that girl, I don't know, Arij was her name,
Arij,
and she
yes.
said, in Jeddah, and I was like, oh my god, दोनों स्कूल के नाम कितने ज़्यादा मिलते जुलते हैं.
Right.
That was really funny.
Yeah. और आपका स्कूल कैसा था? Did they have events like that, like the whole sacrifice my life type of pledges type events?
Oh my
इस तरह के
god.
events होते थे?
No. We didn't have those kind of events. I think that was really funny. I was like, oh my god, इतना ज़्यादा भी नहीं होता होगा.
Yeah.
हमारे यहाँ बस normal events होते थे, मतलब जो होते हैं स्कूल में debates और
sports वगैरह.
हमारी जो प्रिंसिपल थी वो कभी बोलती नहीं थी.
अच्छा.
वो बहुत ही मतलब बूढ़ी सी थी.
Reserved. Yeah.
और हाँ, और वो बहुत ही ऐसी रिजर्व टाइप की. वो कभी मतलब पब्लिकली इतनी बात नहीं करती थी, बस आ जाती थी, बैठ जाती थी. बाकी वो वाइस प्रिंसिपल वगैरह जो होते हैं वही बात करती थी.
अच्छा.
हमारे बात बस नॉर्मल होते थे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता.
तो अच्छा, you were about 12, I'm guessing, when you moved out of Saudi back to Pakistan, right?
Yeah, I think so. क्योंकि we started from 8th grade, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you move to Japan? How long have you been there?
Yeah, so after 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I finished my college from Pakistan. For my undergrad, I came to Japan.
Acha.
So I'm in Japan almost 9 years now.
For your studies. Acha. Yeah, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like undergrad would be typically 4 years or so, right?
Yeah, 4 year. And then I continued for master and then I was like, okay, I can still do PhD. But now I'm like PhD second and I'm like, oh my God, isn't it too long for me? Like academia is not finishing at all.
Yeah, it's a long-term process. If you're going for a PhD, then you basically live at school.
It's really long, yeah. And especially the medical school, you have typically, I think for engineering or other science programs, you have PhD for 3 years, but for medical school, it's for 4 years.
Yeah. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah. I'm in medical school.
Well, what did you do undergrad in?
For undergrad, I was in agriculture department, but mainly my course was marine biology.
That's interesting. That's different.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite different. But later on, I realized like, okay, 4 साल में बहुत ज़्यादा marine के बारे में पढ़ लिया. So maybe I should move to another subject. So I was like, okay, let's do medicine. Here I changed my school. I gave the exam for the School of Medicine, and then I did my master, 6 months research student, and then master, and then in the PhD.
I see. Were you looking for seeking education in Japan, or was it just kind of happened that way? Were you actively applying for universities abroad?
Yeah, actually, the thing was like since I moved to Pakistan from Saudi, it's developed country and it's so different from Pakistan. And since I moved to Pakistan, I never felt very comfortable in Pakistan. I was like, OMG, यहाँ पर ये भी नहीं है, मुझे पाकिस्तान में long term के लिए नहीं रहना. So I always thought like I will just go out of Pakistan. तो मैं तो यही सोच रही थी, मैं कॉलेज भी पाकिस्तान में नहीं करना चाहती.
अच्छा.
तो I think I was the only child who like बाकी सब बहन भाई सब settle down हो गए थे. मैं तो बीच में स्कूल भी नहीं जा रही थी. 2-3 महीने मैं घर में बैठ गई. मैं तो नहीं जा रही. मैं नानी अम्मी के साथ इस्लामाबाद चली गई. वहां पर जाकर बैठ गई.
अच्छा. Are you the youngest of your family?
No. I'm in the middle.
In the middle. अच्छा, ठीक. तो बाकी settle हो गए. Because I found it interesting you said कि बाकी settle हो गए लेकिन मैं नहीं.
हाँ, everyone moved on with their life and I was the one. I was like complaining, ये स्कूल नहीं अच्छा, यहाँ पे टीचर अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ाती है, वो अजीब सी बातें करती हैं।
उफ, यहाँ पे लोड शेडिंग की होती है।
हाँ, और लोड शेडिंग भी बहुत होती है।
मैं ये टॉलरेट नहीं कर सकती।
हाँ, सीरियसली आई वाज लाइक यहाँ पे गंदगी बहुत है, पोल्यूशन बहुत है।
Yeah, it can be tough.
हाँ,
Yeah.
तो
अच्छा, हम जब भी पाकिस्तान जाते थे for summer breaks and stuff, we really loved it. We enjoyed it a lot. बल्कि हम तो सोचते थे कि यार we want to move here.
रियली
वही हमें लोग बोलते थे, like हमारी फैमिली बोलती थी कि आप समझते हो कि आप यहाँ पे रह सकते हो, like you come here for vacation, so you basically have fun.
ऑब्वियसली
आप ये
सही
नहीं
बात
देखते
है।
कि यहाँ पे रहना कैसा है. So they were probably right कि रहने में और वेकेशन करने में थोड़ा फर्क होता है.
टोटली हाँ।
Even if your vacation is like 2-3 months, उसमें आपने ज़्यादा चिल ही करनी है, you know, आम खा रहे हैं, हम
चिल
रेस्टोरेंट्स पे
करना
जा
है,
रहे हैं या
हाँ।
आइसक्रीम खा रहे हैं और you know ढाबों पे जा रहे हैं, things like that. But when you're actually
Yeah.
living there, रोजी कमानी होती है and you have to deal with the people and you know it's like
Oh
very
my
different.
God, seriously. That is totally different. Yeah, even when my cousins they come to Pakistan, they are like, "Oh, we are having so much fun, this and that." I'm like, "Okay, जब तुम लोगों को रहना पड़ेगा ना तो पता चलेगा." Because they also live in US or either Japan. And
Yeah.
also when my sister came to Japan, she was like, "Wow, Japan is so much fun." I was like, "Okay, तुम यहाँ पर आके काम करो, फिर तुम्हें जापान का भी पता चलेगा."
Yeah, Japanese are very hardworking, right? They're like extremely. I hear about this all the time.
Yeah, my current life is just like some people say like, oh, student life is so much better, but I think like yeah, when you start PhD,
With PhD,
it's more or
different.
same as like as a professional life. Yeah, I get also so frustrated sometimes. Yeah, but Japanese working environment is I don't like actually this fact that I don't know why people don't really focus on work and life, work and then personal life and professional life balance. And then they would complain about the depression and other stuff. I'm like, God.
Yeah.
You guys need to have your own life at least. लैब में हर वक्त पड़े रहते हैं एंड जब मैं रात को 8 बजे भी घर आऊँ 9 बजे भी घर आऊँ वो लोग वहीं पे पड़े रहते हैं एंड I get so angry. I'm like, guys, you are just too much.
Because you feel like you're not. Yeah, I had a Japanese coworker actually. She actually went back to Tokyo after working with me in San Diego back then. So her visa ran out for the US, so she had to go back to Japan. And from there, she was letting me know. She was messaging me कि यहाँ पे इतना डिफरेंट है एंड शी इज़ जापानीज हरसेल्फ लेकिन कहती है कि मैंने जापान में कभी काम नहीं किया तो कहती है कि आई फील बैड मैं घर जाने लगती हूँ 5 बजे तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मैं अच्छा नहीं कर रही बाकी सारे बैठे रहते हैं ऑफिस में 7-8 बजे तक एंड देन आई एम ट्राइंग टू लीव एट 5 एंड आई फील गिल्टी like she's like basically because of that I feel like I should work longer.
Same here. Yeah, even if I leave at 7 and then people are there, I'm like, should I leave, should I not leave? Like even if I want to leave, I'll be like, should I leave, should I not? And then I'm like, oh my God, okay, I should just leave. They should know I am a foreigner. I have another life. You guys don't.
Yeah. Exactly. So you said you have some family in Japan too. Do you live there alone or are you living with family?
Yeah, in my city, actually, I live alone.
What city is that, by the way?
Yeah, it's Sendai.
How is that spelled? Sendai?
Yeah.
You know, I know a little bit about Japan, but that's a city that I'd never heard of before. I just knew Tokyo, Kyoto, इस तरह के कुछ शहर हैं. But,
yeah, only big cities. Sendai is not too big, not too small, but yeah, it's a nice city actually. Like not too metropolitan like Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo is just too much. But yeah, Sendai is nice. It's peaceful.
And then you were talking about family.
Oh yeah, family. I have my 2 brothers. They are in Japan, and both of them are married. And both of them they live in Tokyo. So I have my family here. But I live in Sendai myself, and I also have one of my uncle who also lives in Sendai.
Got it. And then your mom and dad, they're not in Japan. They're in Pakistan.
No, my mom and dad, and then my younger brother and younger sister, they are in Pakistan.
Acha.
And both of my brothers are married, so they have their family here.
Yeah. Married Pakistani ke saath ke married in Japan, like with Japanese.
Yeah, one of them is married to Japanese.
Acha. That's cool.
Yeah, and both like their couple is very interesting. So they were even broadcasted on Japanese TV, and then they won the prize, and they won the prize to Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah, so they went to Hawaii for the
cool.
trip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Acha. Zabardast.
They also met each other, I think, during undergrad time.
Acha. Got it.
Yeah, she is Muslim now. Very nice girl. She even have been to Pakistan, and she loved Pakistan. She was like, Fareeha. She texted me. She was like, You know, Fareeha, I saw a donkey on the streets in Pakistan. It was so fascinating. I was like, yeah, it
ये
must
अच्छा
be.
जो चीज़ें हम हमें डिस्कस करती हैं आपको अच्छी लगती हैं.
She was like, it was so fascinating. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that is so cool.
That's funny. How much time did she spend in Pakistan?
I think like after getting married, she has been to Pakistan twice already. Yeah,
Wow.
they're married for 2 years now. So yeah, she
Mashallah.
went to Pakistan 2 years for
Wow.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she really liked it. She was like, oh, it's nice.
Hmm.
And you know, our family, my dad and mom like really loves her, and their bond is really really good now.
That's great. That's
Although वैसे उनके साथ सिर्फ इंग्लिश में बात करनी पड़ती है उसके साथ,
Hmm.
उसको उर्दू नहीं आती है.
उर्दू नहीं आती है.
लेकिन हाँ, आपको
Obviously.
पता है हमारे पेरेंट्स फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ तो टूटी फूटी
Yeah,
अच्छी
बोल ही
वैसे
लेते हैं.
इंग्लिश बोल लेते हैं.
इंग्लिश तो सारे ही बोल लेते हैं. Yeah,
तो-
right. थोड़ी बहुत सारे ही
हाँ,
बोल लेते
नहीं
हैं.
लेकिन जापानीज नहीं बोल पाते ये लोग, बिल्कुल भी नहीं बोल पाते.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really frustrating.
What about your Japanese? I'm guessing by now your Japanese is probably pretty fluent.
Yeah, I can speak in Japanese. Yeah, because for undergrad we had to take Japanese.
Hmm.
Like it was compulsory. So I did learn during that time, and then because ये लोग तो English बोलते नहीं है, so you have to
Yeah, you kind of have to, right?
learn Japanese.
Right. How difficult was it, do you think, to learn?
Oh my god, it was really really difficult.
Acha.
For first 2 years, like we were learning and like reading and writing, but whenever I hear like anyone speaking, I was like, oh my god, what are we learning? Like I don't even still understand anything. Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
और मुझे पता है writing system काफी मुश्किल है.
You know the characters and everything. Yeah, writing भी बहुत different है.
The kanji characters and
Yeah, और इतने ज़्यादा हैं.
they have like 3 different writing systems, right?
Yeah, 3 systems हैं, सही बात है.
Yeah, I love languages. So मैंने I took Arabic,
Oh,
I took French.
nice.
और Japanese मैं खुद ही अपने आप को थोड़ा बहुत मैं Japanese like देखता रहता था because of anime and stuff. I used to be a little interested
okay.
in Japanese. तो मैं घर पे बैठ के ना, I was like 14, 15.
Uh-huh.
And I tried learning a little bit of Japanese and how to write and stuff. And yeah, that's when I realized, okay, this is pretty tough. तो मैंने फिर वो बहुत बचपन का शौक था. And after a
that's
few
so
years I came
interesting.
off. But yeah, I never could learn Japanese like that. But I know how complex it can be.
Yeah, because I had to, and actually I didn't know anything before I came to Japan.
Mhm.
So yeah, after coming to Japan, it was really tough. And we used to have 4 lessons per week, so it was really tough, like along with other subjects.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Along with your regular studies, you have to learn the language too on top of that. That's got to be difficult.
Yeah, definitely it was. And usually we think like, oh, science subjects are really difficult. We need to like give them time, right?
Mhm.
Like physics, chemistry, and other calculus stuff. So I was giving them time, and then I realized like, oh my god, like I thought Japanese would be easy, but it wasn't.
Do you speak Punjabi by any chance? Or understand Punjabi?
I can understand. Yeah, I can understand totally. I like Punjabi music. और हाँ, मामा बाबा वो पंजाबी में बोलते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग उर्दू में आंसर करते हैं, और वो कभी कभी हमारे से उर्दू बोल लेते हैं.
Yeah.
हाँ, बोलने में मैं बोल नहीं पाती, but my sister is really good. वो पंजाबी में जोक्स मारती है.
अच्छा, चलो, that's good.
बोलती नहीं है, लेकिन पंजाबी में जब जोक्स मारती है तो वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग
Funny
लगता है.
yeah, right, yeah.
अगर मुझे सिर्फ पंजाबी लोगों के साथ ही बिठा दिया जाए, बेटा जो कभी हुआ नहीं, तो मैं भी बोल ही लूंगी.
Yeah.
इतना तो क्योंकि आपको पता है तो आप कन्वे कर ही लेते हो.
Yeah, exactly. बंदा गुजारा कर लेता है, right? Do you live by yourself in Sendai, or do you live like on student housing?
No, I was living in student housing for first 2-3 years. Like they extended for 1 more year.
Yeah.
But after that, yeah, they kicked us out. So I had to look for apartment. So now, yeah, I live in my own apartment.
अच्छा, सही.
Yeah, because it's been years. You cannot stay
Right.
in dormitory, I think, after 2 years.
After 2
Yeah.
years, I got it. वहाँ पे apartment काफी छोटे से होते हैं, right?
Oh my God. बहुत ही छोटे होते हैं.
My sister has shown me a lot of, the housing in Japan. It's very interesting how different it is. यहाँ US पे culture है.
Uh-huh.
Everybody likes everything really big. So यहाँ पे,
Yeah, right.
apartments काफी बड़े होते हैं. Houses बहुत बड़े होते हैं. Everything is bigger in the
अच्छा.
US. Yeah. But in Japan, everything is so compact. उन्होंने हर चीज छोटी सी चीजें stuff की होती हैं. I found it so interesting.
Yeah, it's really small. My friends, they call like it's a corridor. We live in corridor. They don't even call it a room.
Yeah. Like for example, आपके पास how many stoves do you have in your kitchen? चूल्हे. Yeah, चूल्हे.
One, obviously.
One. Yeah, हमारे पास 4
No,
है.
one.
By like stove tops की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. Stove tops, burners basically.
Yeah.
हमारे पास 4 हैं.
Uh-huh.
Standard US में 4
Oh,
होते हैं.
अच्छा.
तो हम इस्तेमाल सिर्फ 1 या 2 ही करते हैं.
दो बड़े घर में 2 होते हैं यहाँ पर.
हाँ. और इससे ज्यादा की जरूरत भी नहीं
Yeah.
होती. But for some reason यहाँ पे standard है कि यहाँ पे 4 होते हैं. I mean, I find it really interesting. Like ठीक है चलो छोटी काफी space छोटी है लेकिन they find a way to make it work in Japan.
I think they have to. Japan is really small, right? Yeah.
I mean, I find everything so interesting about it. Like मेरे ख्याल में Japan में cycling is a much bigger culture than here.
Oh yeah. Actually, I started to ride a bike like when I came to Japan.
Yeah.
पहले तो बचपन में सीखी हुई थी और उसके बाद तो कभी नहीं चलाई. एंड देन पाकिस्तान वगैरह में भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि चलाती है लड़कियां. और जापान में आके when I saw everyone is riding bike and then I tried. I was like, wow, okay, I can still ride. Yeah.
वैसे तो पाकिस्तान में भी लोग काफी चलाते हैं साइकिलिंग.
हाँ लेकिन पाकिस्तान में लड़कियां नहीं चलाती है ना.
लड़कियां नहीं चलाती. yeah that's the thing. सेफ्टी का भी मसला होता है ना पाकिस्तान में.
Obviously, वही बड़ी बात है कसम से.
Yeah, how's the safety over there, you think?
Oh, Japan is pretty safe. Yeah, I think Japan तो पूरी दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा safe country है ना.
Yeah, it's a very popular thing for safety in general.
Yeah.
Like a violent crime बहुत कम है वहाँ पे.
हाँ बहुत कम है. Even if you come home late, sometimes like 12, 1 or 2, it's still very safe actually.
Why do you think that is though? Like, what are some good things that they've done that make it so safe? Any ideas? कभी सोचा?
I don't know. Maybe the laws here. I don't know. People just tend to follow laws like really seriously. Everything. यहाँ पे हम कहते हैं कि पुलिस को कुछ काम ही नहीं करना पड़ता. वो फारिग बैठी रहती है तो the only thing they do is like वो जाके बस चलान करने की कोशिश करती है किसी को कि हम बस थोड़ी सी स्पीड अगर डिफरेंट होगी है तो बस हम चलान कर दें.
Yeah.
छोटे मोटे क्राइम्स वो तो होते रहते हैं. वो होते रहते होंगे लेकिन हाँ ऐसा नहीं कभी सुना कि आप चाह रहे थे कुछ हो गया.
Yeah, right.
थोड़ा बहुत तो हो सकता है.
थोड़ा बहुत तो
होता होगा.
Right. Yeah.
लेकिन हाँ वैसे in general it's really safe.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, maybe because like Japanese people, they really keep everything inside them. Like they are very good at pretending. Like they would be really nice at your face and they would be really helpful and kind.
Politeness is part of the culture.
Yeah. तो ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा culture है.
हाँ.
ऐसा pretend करने का. Yeah.
I know because at my current job we have a Japanese team that we work with a lot. तो उनसे feedback लेना काफी मुश्किल हो जाता है because we're asking them for actual feedback. Like
I know, right?
अगर आपको कुछ negative नजर आ रहा है तो आप हमें बता दें. लेकिन वो कुछ negative बोलने से they try to stay away from that, from sharing any critical feedback.
Yeah.
तो अगर उनको कोई चीज़ पसंद नहीं आती ना तो you just have to kind of read their face. Like उनके चेहरे पे लिखा होता है कि यार इनको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. लेकिन वो बोलेंगे सिर्फ oh yeah it's good, I like it, it's good.
Seriously. Like even जब professors वगैरह के साथ भी कोई discussion हो रही होती है and I don't know they like to use maybe a lot. और जब आप उनसे कोई question भी पूछ रहे हैं they would मतलब obviously आप इसलिए पूछ रहे हो क्योंकि आप confirm नहीं हो. They would be like maybe still वो maybe use करते रहते हैं and then you get so confused and actually angry about like अब maybe का क्या मतलब है यार.
Hey, what do you actually want me to do?
Yeah, right. Seriously.
अच्छा, diversity कैसी है वहाँ पे? Like I was going to ask you, being a Pakistani living in Japan, right?
Yeah.
I think in general, Japan might not be very diverse compared to a lot of other Western countries where Pakistanis typically come to, like US, Canada, यूरोप में चले गए, राइट? वहाँ पे काफी बड़ी पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटीज होती हैं.
That's very true.
तो जापान में कैसा है? Like how do you deal with that?
I think जब मैं 2012 में यहाँ पर आई थी तब तो बहुत ही कम थे. जब मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी में सिर्फ मैं आई थी और साथ एक और पाकिस्तानी लड़का आया था. So we were just 2 even in our batch. और उसके बाद बैचलर्स में तो पाकिस्तान से कभी कोई आया ही नहीं. तो वो 4 साल ऐसे ही थे. ठीक है, लड़का भी नहीं आया, लड़की भी नहीं आई कोई. फिर उसके बाद when I started master, I think 2-3 Pakistani girls they came. And तो पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी बहुत थोड़ी थी, मतलब सिर्फ लड़के ही थे बेसिकली. I think 4-5 ही थे इतने 4-5 सालों में. But we have like other communities like Indonesian, Malaysian, Chinese, ये सब तो बहुत ही ज्यादा है यहाँ पर. लेकिन हाँ पाकिस्तानी बहुत ही कम थे. And also few Indians, अब तो बहुत ज्यादा हैं वैसे.
अच्छा.
लेकिन हाँ पाकिस्तानी अभी भी few हैं. But अभी भी कुछ आए हैं. तो जो आए थे जब मैं मास्टर कर रही थी तो we had like I think 3 Pakistani girls came, but yeah, 2 of them were married and 2 of them they had their families here, also in Japan.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, that is very evident, like Japan as a country, एक तो लोगों को ज़्यादा पता नहीं है, and generally I think in Pakistan people are not really comfortable कि अपनी बेटी को बाहर भेजते हैं कि ओ बेटी वहाँ पर तुम जाओ पढ़ लो.
Yeah, right.
Because I think I had an advantage because I had my uncle here, and also my brother. Brother was here before me for his undergrad.
I see. So because of that, your parents kind of were more comfortable with it.
Yeah, my mom was still not comfortable, but yeah, my dad supported me. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my mom's the same way with my sister. You know, वो तो जापान जाना तो दूर की बात है. वो मेरी सिस्टर तो 1 घंटा दूर यूनिवर्सिटी पे जाना चाहती थी, और वो भी अम्मी कहती थी कि वहाँ नहीं रहना.
Seriously.
बच्चे बिगड़ जाते हैं इस यूनिवर्सिटीज पे apparently.
हाँ, ऐसा ही है. इवन कि बाबा तो कहते हैं कि लाइक मेरी जो भी छोटी सिस्टर है, उनको पता मतलब जापान सेफ है और बाकी सब कुछ. तो he does understand. He is like अगर उसने फर्दर स्टडीज के लिए जाना है तो वो जापान जा सकते हैं, बट आई एम नॉट गोना सेंड हर किसी और सिटी में पाकिस्तान के और हॉस्टल वगैरह में.
I think वही ना, वैसे तो हम कहते हैं कि we are an Islamic country, but we have a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for women.
Yeah.
Safety का खास तौर पे बड़ा मसला है. Yeah.
I think यही रीजन है कि आप फिर स्पेशली हम पाकिस्तानी जब बाहर चले जाते हैं फिर हम वहीं के होके रह जाते हैं.
Yeah, वापस अडेप्ट करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है, right?
मुश्किल हो जाता है. मेरी मामा तो बल्कि अभी भी कहती रहती है वापस आ जाओ क्या कर रही हो तुम इतने सालों से वहाँ पर. But now I'm like, अब पाकिस्तान आकर मैं करूँ क्या, अब समझ नहीं आती ना, तो इतना ज्यादा टाइम हो चुका हुआ है.
अब for example you're doing your PhD.
Yeah.
You have to consider whether there's jobs for you in Pakistan that you can work in.
Yeah.
कोई industry है कि नहीं.
And when you don't know the work environment and then even the personal life and professional life, it gets really hard, right? Even to understand, and even if you go back, you might not fit in, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned there's a few Pakistani people over there around you.
Oh yeah, I was telling you.
Yeah. Do you have like any issues finding people, or do you typically have a tight-knit community? Do you have like community events or anything like that?
Yeah, because we are only few Pakistanis, so we do get to meet often, actually, especially like when the times when someone is graduating. Yeah, because Pakistani people, like they want to meet and they always want to cook and eat and talk.
Yeah, talk about that, by the way. What type of food do you prefer? Do you still prefer desi food now, or do you like Japanese cuisine?
Japanese is good. I like some of the Japanese cuisines like udon. They have Japanese noodles called udon.
Yeah.
They're a bit thick in the soup, but yeah, they're nice. And they also have a thing called tempura, which is close to pakoras.
Yeah.
Pakora ke jaisa hote hain.
Right.
So these kind of stuff, and yeah, sushi and other things. But yeah, some of the very typical cuisines, I don't really like them because they're tasteless. But I do like Japanese rice. जैसे हम लोग रोटी खाते हैं वैसे मैं Japanese rice खा लेती हूँ.
Yeah, miso soup.
Yeah, miso soup. Yeah, that one is also nice.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, because देसी खाना बनाना यहाँ पर रोजाना आसान तो है नहीं, because you have to cook everything. और देसी खाना बनाने में टाइम लगता है, या कोई भी खाना बनाना हो. So if like sometimes I'm tired. Yeah. To make it, but yeah, I really like desi food actually. Yeah, but there are some Indian restaurants around and halal shops, so you can buy the stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, like masale वगैरह ढूंढने में या कोई halal groceries ढूंढने में, it can be challenging, I'm sure, in certain spots. But Sendai में you said there are places.
Yeah, in Sendai we do have. Yeah, it's not really small city, right? So we do have foreigners here, and especially many Muslims, Indonesians, Malaysians, and many foreigners. I think because of the university, because my university is like third big university in Japan, in like Japanese National University, and it's very popular. So many foreigners come here. So yeah, they do have a halal shop.
Yeah.
Some other Japanese stores which also sells like halal food. So I think like it's not too difficult. They even sell like parathas, rotis, and everything is frozen, and it's very easy actually. Yeah.
Yeah, desi food मैं खुद भी कभी-कभी पकाता हूँ.
So you also prefer desi food?
I like desi food, yes. I prefer it, लेकिन मुझे कोई strong preference नहीं है. Like मैं फिर भी दूसरी चीजें खा लेता हूँ. Like I like Italian, Thai food, I like Mexican, I like a lot of different cuisines. लेकिन मसला ये है कि उनको पकाना नहीं ना आता इतना. ये practice सिर्फ देसी खानों में. So I prefer eating those outside. Like I'll go to a restaurant, pick some food up.
Or otherwise you have to buy like a lot of stuff, right? And you may have to go to supermarket, spend hours there to choose okay.
Exactly, उनके ingredients बिल्कुल अलग होते हैं देसी ingredients से, right? So for example, देसी ingredients हमारे पास भरे हुए हैं. Like we have all the spices that we need, right? Chilies and things like that. लेकिन अगर मैंने कोई Thai food पकाना है, for example, then you need these things that I don't even have. Like we need soy sauce, you need peanut sauce, oyster sauce. Yeah. मैं like ये मैं कहाँ से लेके आऊँ अब ये चीजें?
Yeah, and maybe you just want to try it for once or twice, and then those things gonna be just there.
They're just gonna sit there and they're gonna expire. And then I have to throw them away. But yeah, exactly. That's what my wife says too.
जब भी मैं पाकिस्तान जाती हूँ, I always bring all those desi masalas, especially the ones that my mom makes in herself.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, वो जो गरम मसाला और
Garam
सब चीज़
masala,
होती है जो
yeah.
मामा घर में खुद बनाती है ना, तो मैं हमेशा वो लेकर आती हूँ. So whenever I cook, I'm like, wow, I'm so good at cooking. I'm like, Mom, it just tastes like yours.
Yeah. Because you have all those secret ingredients. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know at first क्योंकि जब मैं जापान में आई थी तब मैं कुकिंग तो नहीं करती थी. I was very young then, right?
Yeah.
तो जब मैंने बनाना शुरू किया and then मामा के spices यूज किया, I was like, wow, I didn't know like I was this talented.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I still sometimes depend on chaat masala.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very time consuming, very, very time consuming to cook.
Yeah, seriously, it does takes a lot of time, and especially after work,
Oh
you
yeah,
may just wanna come back home and do nothing.
you're exhausted. Yeah, but I used to do that. Like मैं पता नहीं
Right.
12 घंटे काम करके घर आता था, फिर भी मैं कभी-कभी पकाता था.
हाँ.
But yeah, you know, living alone can be very tiring.
Yeah, it's same for me. Like most of the time, I do want to cook, but then sometimes I don't have grocery, and then I don't have time for grocery.
Yeah.
And the other times I'm like, okay, इसकी वजह से like आप नहीं खा पाते, and then you may end up eating outside, and then you are like, okay, maybe I should eat more healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, living alone, like I also realized, oh, it can be really tough actually. So I tell my sister that you live with parents, you get everything done. You should feel very blessed.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's one of the big benefits. I mean, my
Yeah.
wife even now she's like, I miss my mom's cooking.
Yeah.
मेरे लिए पका लेती है, but कहती है कि मुझे उसको अपना खाना नहीं पसंद. कहती है अपने हाथ का खाना नहीं अच्छा लगता. She likes, she still prefers her mom's cooking.
हाँ, I don't know, somehow ऐसा होता है.
Yeah.
मैं भी जब पाकिस्तान जाती हूँ सिर्फ खाने ही खाने जाती हूँ. Like I don't know.
एक ही तो काम है.
When you go to Pakistan, you are like, okay, I want to eat this and this and that.
Yeah, exactly. जो चीजें आपको नहीं मिलती वहाँ पे, you know, Japan में. Obviously, you would want
Yes.
to have that in Pakistan.
Especially वो type की चीजें, nihari, pie.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's
Naan.
authentic. Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree.
Yeah.
So you mentioned obviously कि, you know, Pakistan में you don't see yourself working in Pakistan probably, even though your mom wants you to come back. So do you see
Yeah.
yourself in Japan for the next 5-10 years, or have you thought about where you want to go next? Maybe.
At the moment, I think like it's really difficult to start over, even if I go to another country, like maybe Europe, US, or even in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So at first, I want to try and work in Japan after getting my degree.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
So you might stay here for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know it can be really stressful emotionally and then professionally.
Yeah.
So settle होना आप नई country में जाए, हर चीज दोबारा से zero से start
Of
करना,
course.
it does take a lot of time, right? So I feel that okay, I will start working first in Japan and then I will see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the adjustment, but then there's also the kind of the culture shock. शुरू में
Yeah.
काफी loneliness feel होती है when you move to a new place.
Yeah, फिर आपको कुछ पता भी नहीं होता, because I still remember when I moved to Japan for first 2 years, I was still in doubt. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
दूर के डोल सुहाने होते हैं, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
तो जब रहना पड़ता है अकेले कभी-कभी मुश्किल लगता है, right?
Seriously. Yeah, and especially, you know, in a place like Japan where no one even speak English
Yeah,
and you cannot speak Japanese, right?
yeah.
So it gets really tough. So yeah, first 2 years, like until I couldn't speak Japanese, it was tough, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't want to live here or something. Like ऐसा भी आ गया था mind में. Although I was like I didn't like Pakistan, right?
तो फिर क्या सऊदी के बारे में सोच रही थी.
हाँ, I was और अब फिर लगता है कि अच्छा ठीक है.
Yeah, it worked out.
ऐसा हर जगह ही होता है, so you just have to live.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly. बाकी भी लोग जी रहे हैं कहीं ना कहीं, right?
हाँ, वो जैसे होता नहीं, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले.
Ah,
इंसान.
yeah. You seem to be very good with your poetry. and your ये कहावतें जो हैं.
It just came to my mind. ये वाली हमेशा मेरे माइंड में रहती है, क्योंकि मुझे हमेशा यही लगता है कि यार इंसान वाकई में किसी भी सिचुएशन में ना वाकई में सेटिस्फाई नहीं
हम
होता.
खुश नहीं
आपको
होते.
कुछ भी मिल जाए ना, हम कभी खुश नहीं होते हैं.
It's very true. I mean, I live in US and you know, I feel blessed to be where I am. You know, I have a good job, good
Yeah.
career,
Yeah.
pretty good life standard. लेकिन फिर भी मैं सोचता हूँ यार, कभी-कभी दिल करता है यार मैं भी जापान चला जाऊँ. You know, I want to go to Europe. You know, यूरोप चला जाऊँ यार. मलेशिया कैसा है? Like I'm always looking up different countries. तो
Yeah.
एक बार spontaneously
It happens.
मुझे याद है जब ये before I got married, I was looking for jobs and मुझे याद है तब डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प इलेक्ट हुआ था. I was like यार I need to try some other countries. मैंने randomly Malaysia में jobs शुरू कर दी और I applied to like Dubai and Malaysia and Canada and I was just like yeah I just want to see if there's anything out there. ये नहीं कि मैं अमेरिका छोड़ना चाहता हूँ. I just wanted to try something different.
Yeah, I think it's just in human nature, right?
It's human nature. You always feel like you're missing out. It's the fear of missing out on something. कि दुनिया के opposite corner में क्या चल रहा है? Am I missing out on something, right?
हाँ, क्या चल रहा है? पहले आप सिर्फ अपनी कंट्री के बारे में सोचते हो, फिर अपनी कंट्री से निकल जाते हो, फिर आप दूसरे और कंट्रीज के बारे में सोचने लगते हो.
Yeah, exactly. So have your parents or your mom started pressuring you about marriage?
Oh yeah.
Pressure शुरू हो गया.
तो मामा तो अभी तो मुझे कहने लग गई है कि ओह तुम अभी ऐसा करो, PhD तो कभी भी हो सकती है, तुम अभी ऐसा करो, एक दो साल की छुट्टी लेके आ जाओ, then you can get married and then you can go back again and continue. I'm like, oh really? Do you think is that easy?
Yeah,
especially when you are in medical school and then you have to be in lab all the time, right?
Yeah,
because you have to do experiments. So I think like nahi, it's possible nahi. If you have a major like maybe economics, arts or literature, where you can work from home, it still is possible. But you know, when you have experiments, it gets really difficult. And when you're getting scholarship, you have to finish like in certain amount of time, right?
Yeah, right.
So that is also one thing.
Yeah, I mean, शादी के बाद जिम्मेदारी भी होती है ना कि you have to be there for the other partner. तो अगर आप अलग मुल्कों में रह रहे हैं, even for a short amount of time, that long distance can be very difficult.
Yeah, and it may not work. Especially in the beginning years.
Exactly. Yeah, पहले साल में तो एक दूसरे को समझने में ही इतना टाइम लग जाता है. तो अडैप्ट करने में. Yeah. So if you marry in Pakistan, then it's about like उसका mindset कैसा है, उसका culture कैसा, because his style of thinking is probably different from yours. Okay, you grew up abroad.
That's the thing.
He grew up over there.
Yeah.
So you have to.
वाकई में ये वाली चीज भी देखना पड़ती है.
So that's
Yeah, she keeps telling me about this rishta or this rishta and this thing, and I'm like, okay.
You're just stalling for now.
Yeah, it's funny because she's like, oh तुम्हें ऐसा लड़का नहीं पसंद, ऐसा लड़का नहीं, and one day she was just like, मैंने वो ना एक लड़के की वो निकलवाई है transcript. You can look at his transcript. उसके बहुत अच्छे नंबर है और उसने अच्छे grades लिए.
अच्छा, transcript भी लोग शेयर करते हैं शादी के लिए.
I usually tell mom like, okay, which university like he graduated from or something. So I don't know.
ट्रांसक्रिप्ट निकलवाई है. वाह यार, मुझे नहीं पता था कि लोग ये भी शेयर करते हैं. मुझे पता है बायोडेटा होता है जिसके ऊपर लोग अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी लिखते हैं कि मैं यहाँ से ग्रेजुएट हुआ हूँ, but I didn't know कि वो अपनी ग्रेड्स भी शेयर कर रहे हैं. मैंने
I think because it was my mom and she was like, okay नहीं मेरी बेटी अच्छा पढ़ती है, and then she always asked about कि okay मतलब क्लास में मतलब उसने कैसा किया है, कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी से गया है, तो मे बी ग्रेड्स वाली चीज जो है ना इसको अट्रैक्ट करेगी, तो ये ग्रेड्स देख के ना हाँ कर देगी. I was like, oh my god, my mom is just so cute.
Yeah, that's funny. Grades देख के ही हाँ कर देगी, शक्ल देखे बगैर. माँ अम्मी जी आप हाँ कर दे बस, मेरी तरह से ठीक है. लड़का बहुत स्मार्ट लग रहा है मुझे.
स्मार्ट.
Yeah, इंटेलिजेंट लड़के तो मिलते ही नहीं आजकल.
सही बात है वैसे ये तो.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I think like I still have time. I can get married like maybe I have my 2 more years.
I mean, it's very common now. अब तो वो mindset जा रहा है कि लड़कियों को young age पे शादी कर लेनी चाहिए. Now I see a lot of Pakistani girls actually in late 20s and even early 30s who are still not married yet because of careers or whatever reason. Yeah.
Or still यहाँ पर तो I have my friends like 30, 35 and they would tell me like, oh my god, you are still too young. You don't have to think about marriage.
Yeah.
So it feels better.
Yeah.
At least यहाँ पर बहुत सारे देसी लोग नहीं हैं ना.
Well, Japan culture is very different, right? I've heard in Japan they have an issue with getting people to have more kids and think about family planning and marriage in general, right? Because people are, I guess, so often focused on their careers that they're not thinking about getting married and those types of things as much.
Yeah.
क्योंकि Japan की fertility rate काफी कम है.
That is very true. Yeah, like there was a news recently where they were asking couples to get married and they may receive certain amount for the newlywed people because they think that it's too expensive and then it's expensive to have kids and other things.
So was this the government that was offering money to get married?
Yeah. It's a government because the manpower in Japan is also declining. So I think it's really an alarming situation. That's why I think they are like getting foreigners, giving them scholarships and try to make their economy better or stuff like that. So they are also like trying to encourage their own people. क्योंकि वाकई में यहाँ पर ऐसा ही है, like they get married late.
They have very few kids.
Yeah, few kids. और कई लोग शादी भी नहीं करते.
कई लोग करते ही नहीं.
यहाँ पर 35, 40 के हो जाते हैं, नहीं करते शादी.
नहीं करते. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I found that very interesting क्योंकि मेरे ख्याल में तो पाकिस्तान could learn a little bit from that. They should actually offer money in Pakistan to make people not have kids. जितने बच्चे वहाँ पे पैदा होते. And वाकई, I mean, I talk about this like every other podcast episode, but the population crisis in Pakistan.
Yeah, I heard that. I totally agree.
मुझे बहुत तंग करता है. Yeah, I'll be honest. हर महीने मैं पाकिस्तान charities ढूंढता रहता हूँ, right, to donate money.
अच्छा, nice.
पिछले महीने मैंने एक charity ढूंढी, and they were trying to help people with medical surgeries and things like that, right? तो वहाँ पे इतने केसेस, 2-3 केसेस मैंने ऐसे देखे कम से कम on the front page, जहाँ पे ये women थी, these women were looking for donations for their pregnancy. So basically they needed a C-section.
Oh.
And they did not have money for it. So लिखा हुआ था कि जी, there was one example. She had 4 kids already, and this was her. She was expecting her 5th, and her husband is a laborer and makes 20,000 rupees per month. तो मैंने कहा यार ठीक है. And my wife said you should donate. My wife said कि आपको तो you should donate to her. तो मैंने donate कर दिया.
Yeah, you may feel reluctant, like.
I mean, it's kind of a sad thing, right? Because obviously she still needs help, right? She needs a C-section. अब तो वो हो गया, you know, she's pregnant. तो मैंने donate कर दिया. It kept crossing my mind कि ये बच्चा हो गया तो अगले साल ये फिर pregnant हो जाएगी. और पैसे है ही नहीं. You know, पैसे है ही नहीं.
सही बात है.
मियाँ साहब क्या कर रहे हैं? वो मौलवी लगे हुए हैं.
पता नहीं पाकिस्तान में ऐसा mindset क्यों है?
Yeah. I mean, usually it's the lower the income is, for some reason, the more kids they often decide to have. And I guess the idea is कि बच्चे बड़े होंगे तो वो सारे काम करके पैसे इकट्ठे करेंगे, you know, and they'll raise us to.
लेकिन बड़े होंगे कैसे?
बड़े होंगे कैसे? उनको खिलाने के लिए पैसे नहीं है यार, पिलाने के लिए पैसे नहीं है. वो ये सोचते नहीं.
Right.
I don't know.
कोई नहीं सोचते हैं.
It's a huge problem, I think.
Actually, everyone in Pakistan, they think like I think they just have one perspective. They would be like, okay, हमारा religion ऐसे नहीं कहता, हमारा religion ऐसे नहीं करता है, तो हम क्यों करें? हम कौन होते हैं कि खुदा के मामलात में बोलने वाले? And then, you know, they would get like too much into it, and then you feel like you just don't understand. You don't even want to like debate with these people, right?
It's hard to debate with that because that's the thing. Like एक आपके पास societal issue है, और उसको वो reinforce करते हैं with you know kind of religious arguments.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can there's a lot of counter arguments for that too in the context of religion. अगर आप मजहबी बहस में जाना चाहते हैं तो you can have that discussion. Lekin it's a very uncomfortable discussion in general. It's a very slippery slope. I think it goes from one thing to another, and then the next thing you know, they're calling you kafir.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so true. Or the thing is, I think most of the Pakistani, they themselves haven't read Quran, और सिर्फ सुनी सुनाई बातों के ऊपर हर कोई जो है डिबेट करने बैठ जाता है, और फिर आगे से बोल देते हैं कि ओ तुम्हें नहीं पता, खुद को भी मतलब पता किसी को भी नहीं होता एक्चुअली, वो सिर्फ अपनी बातें करते हैं बेसिकली.
It's true.
So I don't like it. और वैसे भी I think अगर हम इस्लाम में देखें तो अल्लाह ताला ने कहा दुनियावी और दीन की दोनों की जो है तालीम हासिल करो. And they would be like दुनिया की तालीम तो किसी काम की नहीं है ना.
Yeah, exactly.
तो एटलीस्ट अगर दीनी तालीम भी कर रहे हो तो दीनी तालीम भी अच्छे से हासिल करो.
I mean, both go hand in hand. I think it has to be.
Yeah.
आपके जो actions हैं इस दुनिया में, that will automatically decide your consequences in the afterlife. कि आपने, yeah, for example, we're talking about kids, right? आपने बच्चे पैदा किए हैं, क्या आपने उनके लिए provide किया, क्या आपने उनके लिए सोचा? You know, like who knows?
वही तो तरबियत कैसे करेंगे?
One of the last questions I have, I think I'm required by the weebs who are listening to this podcast to ask you this question. I told you about anime before, right?
Yeah.
Are you into anime at all? Like, I think, do you know what weebs are, by the way?
No.
Yeah, it's a stupid word for people who are very obsessed with anime.
They have, I think maybe this word is in English because Japanese, they call it as otaku.
Otaku, yeah.
I don't know if
I've heard of that too.
Yeah,
yes.
You heard this, yeah. Yeah, they call it as like, we do have these kind of people when some like, but it's rare to see that in small city, but maybe in Tokyo more often you may see those kind of people like dressed up in a certain way and walking around. But yeah, for myself, I'm not really into anime. Also maybe because I don't really get time to watch anime or
anything like that.
Yeah. in the beginning, actually, I did watch the anime called One Piece.
Oh yeah, I love One Piece. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know this
I
one.
love One Piece. Yeah, मैंने बहुत देखा हुआ है. How far did you get with it?
I don't know. There were like so many episodes. I think I could only watch 100 or something.
I think they're almost at 1,000 episodes now.
Oh yeah, seriously. So that's why I stopped. Like if there is any kind of like drama or series I'm watching, if there are like too many episodes or too many,
it's tough, right, to get into it. Yeah,
I would just skip. You also made this episode about Earth Rule or something.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, har koi dekh raha hai. And then my brother was also watching it. I was like, okay, I should give it a go. And then I tried it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, इसकी तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा episodes हैं. मैंने थोड़ी बहुत देखी हैं. I was like, okay, बस इतना बहुत
काफी है. Yeah, right. I started watching it and I watched a lot of it for that podcast episode. But then after that I stopped because life gets busy. और कितना देखोगे?
Seriously, you don't want to get stuck, right?
Yeah, exactly. कितना देख सकते हो, you know?
हाँ, आपकी अपनी जिंदगी इतनी छोटी है.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you gotta live your own life. कि आप दूसरों की लाइफ देखते रहेंगे टीवी पे.
Seriously, हाँ. और फिर ऐसे लगता है अच्छा आपने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी बस एक सीजन पे गुजार दी है. एक ही मूवी पे मैंने गुजार दी है.
Yeah, any obsession, like even anime, people, there's so many anime to watch. और सारों की इतनी लंबे episodes हैं and they never end. There's like Naruto, there's One Piece, there's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Naruto is also very famous.
Naruto is very famous.
Yeah, Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I can't keep going. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा episodes होती हैं, मैं बस give up कर देती हूँ. Unless थोड़ी बहुत episode हैं, series भी छोटी है, तब मैं देख लेती हूँ. Otherwise फिर मुझसे देखी नहीं जाती है. तो हाँ, One Piece. I also the one thing I started watching was I wanted to improve my Japanese. So I was like, okay, this would help me learning Japanese. Yeah. And it really did, actually.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Like in the beginning, especially watching some anime would help learn Japanese.
Yeah.
Of course, I think Japanese जिस तरह वो anime में बोलते हैं, it's a little different from how Japanese is spoken in real life. क्योंकि anime में मैंने गौर किया है, everything is like super, like ओए, like जिस तरह पंजाबी में लोग लड़ते नहीं हैं, इसी तरह anime भी वो लड़ते हैं.
That's so true. Yes. It looks so violent, right?
Yeah, ऐसा लगता है हरा बंदा बदमाश है.
हाँ, बदमाश हैं. हालांकि रियल लाइफ में आप इनको देखें, they are like always polite, silent, हर वक्त बो करते रहते हैं. And then you are like, oh my god, can you just stop it now? मतलब झुक के जाते हैं. फिर हम उर्दू में ऐसे बोलने लगते हैं, यार तुम बिच ही जाओ अब.
Yeah. और जिस तरह ये लड़कियों का दिखाते हैं, लड़कियों को एक्स्ट्रा इनोसेंट दिखाते हैं एनिमे, लाइक लड़की लाइक बिल्कुल उसको कुछ पता नहीं है. Oh no, मीना सामा, like I'm like what? And then I started watching like
seriously
actual Japanese spoken.
That is so true.
Yeah, अगर आप देखें actual.
नहीं, लड़कियां ऐसे ही करती हैं.
But do they do that in real life?
लड़कियां, oh my god, they do.
They do, really.
And I get हाँ ऐसे ही करती है और मुझे इतना गुस्सा चढ़ता है ना, and I feel like oh my god, seriously.
Like they try to be cute, like little cutesy or something.
Oh my yeah, cute all the time. Hi. Like you say hi is yes.
Yes. Hi means yes.
जैसे हम जी बोलते हैं या yes होता है. हाँ, तो एनिमे देखते इतना तो पता होगा.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I know.
तो वो हमेशा मतलब ऐसे ही बात करती हैं, and I have realized it क्योंकि आप foreigners है ना, आप straight forward बात करते हो, and they actually don't like it, they also want you to act like in a certain way. क्योंकि अब जो मेरी लैब है ना, वहाँ पर बहुत ही मतलब typical type के Japanese लोग हैं और ज्यादातर लड़की हैं, and they all act in a way कि बस तुम भगवान हो, तो उस आपका जो भी बॉस है उसके सामने हमेशा ऐसे एक्ट करती हैं. then I realized अपनी रियल लाइफ में भी ऐसे हैं, और एक्चुअली वो फॉरेनर्स को रूड समझते हैं, the way we talk, and then नॉर्मल बात भी करना जो है ना, उनको लगता है कि पता नहीं हम कितने रूड हो गए. तो जब मैं भी जापानीज बोलती हूँ ना, तो I try to be like,
you try to be the cutesy
and humble.
You try to pull off the cutesy charm.
I try not to cute, but I just try.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I try to be polite.
मतलब अपनी आवाज को थोड़ी पिच बदलनी पड़ती है, right, to sound a little polite.
हाँ, करना पड़ता है.
That's funny though. मुझे नहीं पता था कि असल में भी the girls actually do this.
Oh my god, you should actually visit Japan. Japan is really funny.
Yeah.
बहुत सारे surprises हैं और interesting है, बहुत interesting है Japan.
Yeah, no, I want to visit so badly.
But if you live in long term in this kind of environment, you also may get like, okay, बहुत ज़्यादा दिखावा लगता है.
Culture बहुत different है ना. Like for example, अगर आप देखें हमारे culture में भी, पाकिस्तानी culture में, मैं कई बार सोचता हूँ, हमारे culture में there's no real way to say sorry. या किसी का शुक्र अदा करना थोड़ा सा अजीब लगता है, राइट? Like for example, जब मैं पाकिस्तान में बाजार में जाता था and I would buy something, I would sometimes say शुक्रिया. And then I would notice कि यार कोई और शुक्रिया नहीं बोलता. और जब मैं शुक्रिया कहता हूँ तो there's no word for them to say you're welcome.
Yeah, सही.
तो उसके लिए कोई जवाब नहीं होता उनके लिए, वो बल्कि मुझे अजीब सी शक्ल देते हैं. Like they would look at me weird, like कि इसने मुझे शुक्र अदा क्यों किया है, right?
हाँ, ज़्यादा ही बोल गया.
हाँ, कुछ ज़्यादा ही बोल गया. कोई रिक्शे पे बैठ के मैं उतर गया and I'll be like शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत. They look at me and they'll be like this guy's definitely from outside. ये foreigner है.
उनको पता चल जाएगा.
There's no way to say sorry. ठीक है, word है हमारे पास, माफी मांगना चाहता हूँ, मैं माफी मांगना चाहती हूँ, लेकिन कोई
नहीं बोलता.
आमतौर पे कोई बोलता नहीं है. एग्जैक्टली राइट. मुझे माफ कर दें. इन डे टू डे लैंग्वेज हमारे कल्चर में इन चीज़ों को पता नहीं क्यों इज वीकनेस समझा जाता है. गेस
हाँ, बहुत ज्यादा सही कह रहे हैं. ऐसे तो बोलेंगे नहीं, या बोलेंगे तो सिर्फ सॉरी ही बोल देंगे. और हम लोगों को सॉरी लगता है कि अच्छा वो सिर्फ जो है बस ऐसे ही बोलता गया. you don't really mean it, right?
हाँ, exactly right. My mom always says this कि American culture में I love you बहुत बोला जाता है. Like they'll be like, oh I love you so much, and she'll be like ये असल में एक दूसरे से प्यार करते ही नहीं लेकिन कहते रहते हैं. हमारे कल्चर में कहती हैं कि हमारे कल्चर में हम असल में प्यार करते हैं लेकिन हम बोलते ही नहीं.
हाँ, हमारे कल्चर में ये बात भी है.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean that I think is a fair point कि actions speak louder than words sometimes.
ये बात तो है. But I think like you have to maybe think more smartly too, क्योंकि कई लोगों को सुनना अच्छा लगता है, कई लोगों को बोलना अच्छा लगता है, कई लोगों को actions अच्छे लगते हैं.
Some people like the expressions, some people like the actions. Yeah, you're right. हर बंदा अलग है.
Yeah. हमने सब टॉपिक्स कवर कर लिए हैं.
Yeah. Are you still sleepy?
No. I'm not sleepy now.
देखा मैंने कहा था. I try not to be boring.
हाँ, you were a very good host. Yeah. Like we just kept going. I totally didn't expect. I thought कि अच्छा पहले क्वेश्चन होंगे, फिर हम रुक जाएंगे, फिर आंसर होंगे, वो पता नहीं क्या बोलना.
Yeah, you were expecting me
but
to.
It went well.
Yeah, you were expecting me to ask questions like an interview format that would put you to sleep. So, Fareeha, tell me how is the life in Japan? And then I just stay quiet. Like ऐसे नहीं, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं पूरी गुफ्तगू करूँ. Like I try to keep the other person engaged. So I try not to make you sleepy.
Yeah, it was nice, right?
Well, it was really nice talking to you. Thanks for doing this.
Same here. Yeah.
Good night, and I'll be in touch.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, you too. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Did you like this episode of Popcord? Share your feedback or comments on our Instagram page at Popcord, and to keep up with our latest updates and content, or get connected with our guests. Remember to subscribe to Popcord if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. You can also email us anytime for feedback, comments, or questions at hello@popcord.com. We'll see you next time.